Alright, so today we are going to be covering something involving tigers. But I'm going to prove to you that though there might not be any gay orgies that we know of, the Kushan in the Berserk manga are still the real tiger kings. Now, the word PISHACHA comes from Indian and Hinduism origins. A translation of the word itself seems to be defined as a PISHACHA being an evil being, or a fiend, a ghost, something vampiric, or a flesh-eating demon. Kind of a random assortment of meanings, but underlying all of them is the idea of some kind of creature that is going to be threatening, to say the least. There's also about 5 or 6 different spellings of the word, but all seem to be just as valid as the others, so we're just going to stick with the way that it's spelled in Berserk. Ancient India has legends of the PISHACHA being very different than what they are in the Berserk manga. The short gist of what they are in the Berserk manga is enchanted animals, or animals enchanted by magic. But first, a brief look at the classic legend in our real world. They're described as having a dark complexion and red eyes, which kind of reminds me of the Ishvalans from Fullmetal Alchemist. I don't know if that's racist to say or not, but anyway. They also feed on humans. Some say literally eating them, or energetically, which calls back to the whole vampire definition, as the whole idea of a vampire traditionally was them stealing your life energy or life force to sustain themselves. And later that got turned into draining you of your blood, which in its own way is also a life force. I have also always wondered what a vampire would look like in Berserk. So Miura, if you're writing Berserk, if you're releasing new chapters, please see if you can just kind of squeeze a vampire in, because I'd be very curious. But the legends also say that they could possess and assume different forms, which leads us closer to how the PISHACHA are used in Berserk. From what I can figure out, PISHACHA seems to be a very blanket term that can function as all kinds of different superstitions. So like I said, in Berserk specifically, the PISHACHA refer almost exclusively to animals being corrupted by Eastern-style magic, which kind of relates more to the classic lore of a familiar, and that would be an animal that was connected to you like a helper or guide, or in some cases, a demon taking the form of an animal. Here in Berserk, the PISHACHA are used by the Kushan people, ordered to do so by their emperor, Ganishka. Ganishka being a very powerful apostle himself, though that's unknown to most of his followers. Check out my Apostle Monster Manual video if you need to know what one of those are. But being inhuman like he is, he devises several macabre and sickening ways to help him fight his wars, and the PISHACHA is just another entry into that overall ambition of complete control. In order for a PISHACHA to be created, a human magic user is needed. And unlike the magic used by traditional witches in Berserk, the Kushan style of magic deals more with energy and one's own life force. It's like manipulating the natural energy in and around something in order to control it or have it do what you want. So a spellcaster would focus on the animal it wishes to control, and almost like a hypnotism, if you will take over the creature's soul or life force, and it becomes like their puppet. But they can also even take this one step further and infuse another soul or life force into that animal. So they can either take the restless spirits, which I covered on another monster manual. They can take them and fuse them into an animal that they're controlling. Basically the only difference between the spirits possessing the animal on their own, like the ever so famous horse, oh my God! Is that when the Kushan do it, it is done through their magic, giving them specific control over that animal. But it's not like they're sitting in the seat of a Gundam or something controlling every movement the creature makes. It's more so like they give the animal an objective, and that animal acts out that objective. So it can be something as simple as, go kill everybody on the beach. We see crocodiles attack our main characters, and were it not for the fact that they were facing guts, it would have been an absolute massacre. But even further than adding restless spirits into the animal, the Kushan magic users can even add in the souls or life force of other animals. A fusion of animals using one animal's body as the host, and then adding in attributes from another animal's soul. The prime example of this is the Makara. The Makara is the name given to an actual whale from the ocean that has been infused with spirits of Kushan war elephants. So it grows this gigantic trunk onto the whale itself and allows it to operate and battle on both land and sea. The Makara actually proved to be one of the biggest assets in the PISHACHA making arsenal, and one of the best and strongest creatures that the Kushan have to offer. So when it comes to powers and abilities of the PISHACHA, it really depends. There's several that we see in the series, but you could look at it this way. Take the base animal, let's use the tigers for example. So it has all the abilities of a regular tiger. The claws, the speed, the teeth, being able to rip you apart, send you to jail thanks to fucking Carol Baskin. But the corruption and control of that animal spirit makes it even stronger, so maybe double or perhaps even triple the abilities of the base tiger, and then on top of that, it is under the control and command of a spellcaster, whatever that may be. Like, kill and rip apart all these 1%ers and rich people. They're great! But then you have the crocodiles and even elephants that we see in the ruins of Wyndham that are infused with restless human spirits. We'll go with the elephants here because I really like the way that they look. So it has all the strength and power of a regular elephant, maybe double or triple that due to the magical enhancement. But then factor in that the elephant can maneuver on 2 legs and can now use weapons and armor like a human could. Crocodiles during the same chapters use spears and weapons on top of being able to use their naturally powerful jaws to chop you in half and eat you. And the Makara, as mentioned before, has the force and power of a goddamn whale and elephant mixed together and is capable on both land and water. And they can fire water from their trunks with enough force to send you flying into the ground. So if you had to fight a PISHACHA, what could you do? Well, here's the thing. There's a few ways to defeat them. Now, even though they are vicious and powerful, they still have all the weaknesses and vulnerabilities that any living creature or animal would have. They don't necessarily have harder to pierce skin, other than the Makara, who has a very rough exterior. But the tigers, crocodiles, elephants, and more can all be killed just as they could be in their normal base animal state. Pierce the heart, slice the throat, or you could just cut them up enough so that they bleed to death. You would have to be very skilled swordsman, or if you were in the modern age and had a gun and you were a good shot, there you go. But like, if you were to battle a tiger one-on-one in real life, chances are high that you would die, even if you had a weapon, but it's not impossible. So it would just be like fighting a tiger on steroids. So still not impossible, but you're probably gonna die. Also, hope to God you only have to fight one, because as seen in Berserk, PISHACHA usually travel in packs. There's never just one. But they are also vulnerable to things like silver, which can ward off evil spirits, and to magic in case you have any spells up your sleeve that you want to use. Shirake's barrier was able to burn up the creatures because they had that kind of evil maliciousness to them. Another way to defeat them involves a bit of hide and seek. So the Kushan magic users need to be in a particular range in order to control the animals, and similarly to traditional magic used in Berserk, they must remain in a trance-like state while doing so. So that leaves them completely open and vulnerable to any attack. So if you can find the spellcasters and kill them, then the corruption of the animal spirits will dissipate. But all that really means is that the animal goes back to being just a regular animal. And the tiger may no longer be enchanted or controlled, but it's still going to be a very confused and very much alive and potentially hungry tiger. Basically, you still have to fight a tiger. And if you do have to fight a tiger, don't be afraid. Instead, be like Roderick. Just jump right in there like a motherfucking boss! So anyways, guys, that will do it on the PISHACHA of Berserk. I hope you liked this video. I hope you learned something. Leave a like, leave a comment down below. I really would appreciate it. Subscribe if you want to stick around. I know a lot of people watch the Monster Manual videos and are not subscribed. It'd be really cool if you did, but you don't have to. Do what you want to do. It's your life. It's all right. I'm not going to judge you. Besides that, guys, thanks a lot for watching this, and I will catch you in the next video.